Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Suburban Stone Age. Today's video is part 2 of our Victory Garden tour, and we're starting with the backyard now, which I've been working in a lot this spring to clean up. So it's still a little messy in parts. We've had rain recently, but I thought I'd just show you what's going on. So here is the most traditional looking vegetable garden that we have, and I've used IBC totes to build this out. In this garden here, we have a cabbage that I planted from the grocery store. Fava beans and potatoes are growing, and I put that in about 3.5, 4 weeks ago. I'll put a link to the video, the original video, in the description. This is also my IBC tote wicking bed. Same, put it in about 3.5, 4 weeks ago, and the link will be in the description. They're doing so well. I'm already harvesting from them. Now, a couple things that aren't quite as easy to notice are the trees. We've got an orange tree, apricot, plum tree. Down there we've got tangerine trees and a blood orange tree kind of tucked in. When I do edible landscaping and a food forest concept, which is pretty popular in permaculture, I draw on those principles quite a lot. I also like to blend a lot of the edible food that I plant into the landscape so it doesn't look like your traditional garden with rows and rows and rows. A lot of times I'll tuck food in here and there so it looks more like landscaping. So it's an edible landscape. But in any case, this is the main, most traditional looking garden. I'll show you one more bed that follows those lines and then we'll move on. This bed here I just put in yesterday. I finished it. It's so heavily wired because certain canines, like right there, love to dig in it. It used to be her dig spot. She's got lots of other spots she will dig in, I assure you, so I didn't take anything away from her. But this has always been an old garden bed. We removed the lawn and instead replaced it with a raised garden bed made from IBC tote cages. And then it's covered with an old fence panel to keep her out because she'll just get in there and dig, and she already has. So I had to put the cover on. But this should do the trick. And then here is a cherimoya tree. It's about 10 years old. So I'll keep showing you some of the trees. We have over 40 fruit trees in our 9,000 square foot yard, and they're tucked here and there, so I'll move on to those next. This portion of the yard is where a lot of the citrus is. We have navel oranges, lemons, and then along that back fence there is a grape. This is our Anna apple tree up here. This area is under construction. I'm doing a project here for summer. So it's kind of messy, but that's where some of the fruit trees are. And then in this area, this little patch right here is more focused on California natives, but tucked in there are rosemary of a couple different kinds. And that's it for edibles in this little patch. In this guild here, and a guild is a collection of plants that grow together as a community, so that your stacking functions. Again, it's a permaculture principle, but in this guild here, we have comfrey. There's onions down there. We also have a native California gooseberry, which is this fella here, which has done really well. I just trimmed back rather aggressively the goji berry that was taking over the world in this little plot, so that's here too, but it's not as easy to see. It will be later in the year. We have a European gooseberry back there. And then way behind is a pineapple guava. I think people call them feijoa too. So the pineapple guava has edible flowers, it has edible fruit, but after all these years, I still haven't had a taste of one. I think the birds get them before I ever do, which is kind of okay with me. Although maybe one day I would like to try one. Here's a quick shot of the pineapple guava and the flowers. The flowers are really delicious and they taste like candy. They're very sweet. But if you eat all the flowers, you won't get any fruit. So I try to hold off because I'm waiting for that fruit. This guild here is by the pond. The pond's way in the back there. And it mainly consists of our Fuerte avocado, which has finally gotten big enough. We've waited 6 years to get our first fruit. And it's delicious. It's a really nice fruit. So there's an avocado there. That fella is persimmon. Behind it is a dwarf almond tree. And in this little pond here are juncus that I use for basket making. And behind that, although it's not edible, it is medicinal, but it's a tea tree. And that's the kind of tree that you use the essential oil from, if you're into that sort of thing. I'll give you a close-up in just a sec. Here's a different angle of that guild. That's the almond tree. And then that is the tea tree. Smells really, really good when you brush against the leaves. Not anything like the essential oil, which is very strong and kind of stinky. When it's fresh, it's so beautiful. So here we are, sort of back where we started, underneath the main garden. As you can see, I have some weeding to do, but that's going to be a project for this weekend. I'm going to remove a lot of these grasses that always come up during our rainy season here in Southern California. And I'm going to go ahead and put in vegetables. Oh, hello, little sparrow. We have several nest boxes around our house, and the sparrows go crazy with bugs. I don't have a bug problem in my garden because you get a couple hungry families of sparrows and that takes care of a lot of bugs. So that's going to be my next project. In here, they're a little hard to see, but those are the tangerine and orange trees. And then that's apricot. And so in this understory, I'm just going to put a couple little vegetables, take out the grass, put in the veggies. And that should do as even more space until summertime. And then also you can see in there though that there are raspberries. I think they're raspberries. It's a wild California berry. That guy's growing. I have mixed feelings about it. We don't get them around here too often because it's quite dry, but they're very thorny and hard to work around. But we'll see. And they don't really make that many berries anyway. But I might just leave them because if they have a role to play to create shade, etc., and keep the dogs out with the thorns, then that's okay. TBD. But the grasses can go. We'll feed those to the chickens, and the vegetables will go in. So here we go. That's an overview of the backyard victory garden. I would love to hear your questions and comments. Leave me a comment if you'd like to start a discussion or have anything that you wonder about. Also, subscribe if you'd like additional videos, and leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed our journey. And we'll see you again next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.